Welcome back to the predictions video. It's week 4 of the A-League and we've got some big fixtures coming up. But today we've got a guest that's interviewed the likes of Archie Thompson, Cassini Yengi and Brendan O'Neill. It's Newy Jets football. Harry, thanks for coming on the predictions video this week. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. Thanks for having me on.
No worries. Have you had a chance to go into any games yet this season?
Yeah, I got to the first Jets home game last weekend against the Wanderers, which was a pretty positive result for the Jets.
But before we get into the predictions for this league, let's see how we went last week. I didn't have the best of weeks. I only picked up 2 points, but Lockie picked up a big 4 points for the guest with that correct result with MacArthur Western United, which brings the scores level on 9. But let's get stuck into the predictions. Victory take on Wellington in game 1 at Amy Park. Victory coming off that 1-1 draw to Adelaide in the original rivalry with 2 red cards in that game, so there's no Miranda for this game. But Wellington coming off that big win to Brisbane 5-2. This could really get their season kick-started. Victory made the chances for themselves in that last game against Adelaide, so if they convert those chances this week against Wellington, they could be in for a very big score. But I think the Wellington defence will hold up and won't leak that many goals. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Victory here. Let's start with game 1, Victory versus Wellington at Amy Park. 2 teams that have had different results last week. Obviously, Victory with that insane game against Adelaide and Wellington coming off that massive win against Brisbane. How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, like you said, Wellington had a really good result against Brisbane last week and are starting to build a lot of confidence. But Victory at home, this year I see Victory to be a very good side. I see a lot of new players that are coming in and they seem to be gelling really well. So for me at home, I've got Victory in this one. They've looked too good so far this season, even though Wellington have shown positive signs. I've got Victory winning this one quite comfortably. I'm going to go 2-0.
On to game 2. It's Western United's first home game of the season out at Ballarat, and they take on Newcastle Jets, who are coming off a couple of decent performances. 3 goals against Victory, 2 goals against the Wanderers. They should have really won last week against the Wanderers. They just ran out of steam. But Western United coming off those 2 bad performances recently. Could this be their level for the rest of the season? I don't think so. They've got too good of a squad to be a bottom 6 team in my opinion. And the fact that this being their first home game of the season, I'm going to go with a Western United win here. I think it's going to be a high scoring game, but regardless, I think it's going to be a Western United win. I'm going to go 3-2. All right, the second game of the week, the first Saturday game, Western United take on your team, the Newcastle Jets, at Ballarat. First home game for Western United for the season. Western United looking like they're struggling off that win against City in the first week. And Newcastle are coming off 2 positive results, 2 goals against the Wanderers and 3 against Victory. It's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah, like you said, it's a very interesting game. Both teams looking to, I guess, Western got, as you said, got a win in round 1, but they haven't really been gelling as such in the last few weeks. But the Jets have shown promising signs, but they haven't picked up a win yet, so they'll be eager to get a win in this game. The 2 players to highlight for me, I've said it all year, Angus Sergey and Daniel Pena for Western. It feels like they haven't really gelled as of yet, but they're certainly a duo to watch out for. And for the Jets, I think this is a game where it could really get our season started. We need to win this game. It'll be very tricky in Ballarat, but I can't see the Jets winning. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in this game.
And game 3 is my Wanderers taking on Perth Glory at CommBank Stadium. Wanderers coming off that shaky result against the Jets, conceding 2 counter-attacking goals. And Perth coming off a strong performance after dropping Ollie Sale, their big signing over the off-season. Will we see Cook solidify his spot as the number 1 in that team? I think so. I can't see Ollie Sale coming back in after keeping a clean sheet against the Mariners. But Western Sydney will look to rectify their results from last week with another big victory at home. Hopefully one like the Western United victory, but I'm going to go with a 4-0 victory. Game 3, Wanderers taking on the Glory at CommBank. Wanderers coming off that scrappy draw against the Jets last week, picking up that late goal to score the equaliser. And Perth coming off an interesting result. They dropped Ollie Sale, picked up the 3 points and looked strong against the Mariners. How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, like you said, I think Perth are another interesting team. They're sort of like Wellington, sort of flying under the radar, but this will be a very tricky test for Perth at home to Western Sydney. I'm sure Western Sydney fans were expecting a win last time out against the Jets. But returning home at CommBank, I see the Wanderers winning this one quite comfortably as well. It's a game where I think if Perth are going to be a strong side this season, they've got to sort of put up a good result against these sort of top teams. But in this game, I think Wanderers will get the win quite easily. Let's go 3-1 Wanderers.
And the last game for Saturday, it's Adelaide taking on Sydney FC at Cooper Stadium. It's a fortress Cooper Stadium for Adelaide United at the moment. Sydney are coming off the back of some terrible form, but under new coach Ufuk Talai. We saw Melbourne City get their new managerial bounce last week, so could this be a catalyst for Sydney FC to do the same this week? I don't think so, but I tipped Sydney FC to get a goal from this game. I can't see them going 4 games without a goal. But like I said, Cooper Stadium is a fortress for Adelaide United. I can't see them losing there this season. I could see them drawing a couple of games, but this is not one of them. I'm going to go with a 3-1 win. And then the last of the Saturday kickoffs, Adelaide taking on Sydney at Coopers. No Irankunda, obviously, after that red card in the original rivalry. And Sydney under their first game of Ufuk Talai. Could this be a new manager bounce and a kickstart to Sydney's season?
It's something that I've talked to a lot of people, and they believe that he is the man to get this Sydney FC team back in the top 4. I'm not so sure. I mean, the players are there. They're a different squad to the past few years. But just on Adelaide, they've been great so far this season. I feel like that was a tricky game away in Melbourne last week, and to get a draw, I'm sure they would have been pleased with that. This will be another very interesting game. Can Sydney turn around their bad form? At Coopers, though, I think Adelaide should get the job done. As you said, no Irankunda, but I believe they've got a good young crop of players coming through. We're seeing Johnny Yell, Musa Toure, have already played plenty minutes for the Reds, and I see them winning this game. Let's go 2-1.
The first of the Sunday games, Melbourne City take on Macarthur FC at Amy Stadium, a stadium where Melbourne City lost to Burren United midweek in the Champions League. Obviously, they came off that big victory against Sydney FC last week, which gave them their first win of the season under new manager Aurelio Vidmar. But was that just a one-off, and is there deeper lying issues with this squad? I believe so, and Macarthur are on a hot streak at the moment. I can see them getting something from this game. And with that being said, I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw for this game. I can't see Macarthur getting the full 3 points, but I can see them getting something, that's for sure. And then we got the first of the Sunday kickoffs, 2 teams that have been in midweek football. Melbourne City coming off that loss to Burren United at Amy Park, and Macarthur playing tonight, so we don't know the result of that one yet. But Macarthur looks good last week against Western United.
Yeah, they did. We touched on Western before, and obviously they're a team to look out for. But for Macarthur to get a win at home against Western, that would have built a lot of confidence for Macarthur. Melbourne City, obviously they haven't started the season. They obviously picked up their first win last week, which I'm sure got a lot of pressure off the shoulders, but they also sacked Radio Vidicic a few weeks back too. So there's been a lot of changes at Melbourne City. This game at Amy Park, again, I'm going for most of the home teams this round, but I can see Melbourne City getting their second win in a row under their new coach. I want to go 2-0 Melbourne City.
And last game of the week, it's Central Coast Mariners taking on Brisbane Roar. Had the wheels fallen off the Brisbane Roar party bus after that 5-2 defeat in Wellington? I don't think so. I think they're too good of a squad and too good of a manager in Ross Aloisi to let that happen. But Central Coast picked up that big win over in Bali midweek in very difficult, hot conditions over there. But could this be a catalyst for Central Coast to push on this season? I believe so, but not in this game. I think it's a draw in this game. I can't see either team winning. I'm going to go with a 3-3 draw. And then the last game of match week 4, Central Coast taking on Brisbane Roar at Gosford in that beautiful stadium. Mariners haven't looked great this season, but they got the win midweek against Bali in Bali. Could this be a bit of a kickstarter to their season?
I think so. I think, yeah, like you said, a really good performance from the Mariners. They got it done against Bali, and we saw a good crop of Mariners away fans too as well. So that would have been good for the Central Coast. At home, I think this is a chance to start to see them really shine and kickstart their season. We saw last year they clicked straight from the start. So I'm expecting them to win this game. Brisbane will throw a lot at the Mariners, but I do think in this game, let's go for a high score. Let's go 3-2 to the Mariners. I can see them winning this one.
All right, Harry, thanks again for coming on. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so Newy Jets football. Most of the updates and all that are on Instagram, but you can find our podcast and episodes on YouTube, Spotify, and TikTok. So yeah.
And you've had some big guests on those podcasts, so I'll make sure people check that out because you've had some unbelievable names, not to mention Archie Thompson that you had last week.
Yeah, it was incredible to have him on and hoping to get some more guests soon. But yeah, thanks for having me on.
But thanks again for Harry from Newy Jets Football for coming on this week's predictions video. I'll leave his links top of the description. But let me know, will I get my first correct result of the season this week? Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you soon.